With a lot of popular 60% mechanical keyboards in the market like the Ducky 1-2 Mini, GMMK Compact, and Pro 2, and a few others, they all come at a price of around $80 to $100. For someone who hasn't had a mechanical keyboard in the past and is looking to try one out, these prices can scare away potential buyers who are using a random keyboard they had lying around their house. That's where the RK61 keyboard comes in. For half the price of only $43, or sometimes less during sales, you can get this keyboard in black or white with the option of blue, brown, or red switches. I've been using this keyboard now for a little over a month to get the experience of using my first mechanical keyboard, which I'll share with you in this video. First, taking a look in the box, the first thing that you're greeted with is the RK61 itself. Next, we also get the user manual, which actually comes in handy when setting up the keyboard. And lastly, we get a standard USB to USB Type-C cable, which is nice, and a plastic keycap puller. Now, taking a look at the keyboard itself, I chose the black version, which is nice, but after taking a look at some other videos of the RK61, I personally think that the white one looks a lot cleaner. And before getting into my thoughts about the keyboard, I first just want to talk about the features and the specs of the RK61. Starting with the options for connecting the keyboard to your device, you can use a provided USB Type-A to USB Type-C cable to plug into the middle of your keyboard, or you can use Bluetooth with the 10-hour battery life, which is an amazing feature at this price point. The keyboard also has RGB functionality with 17 different lighting modes, which I show later in this video. Also, this keyboard is a 60% layout, meaning that it doesn't have distinct arrow keys, and comes in a much smaller form factor, which is great for saving space on your desk and allowing for more space for your mouse, which can be important if you're a gamer. However, a 60% keyboard also has some cons, which I'll get into later in this video. If you're someone who uses a few devices with the same keyboard, this keyboard can connect to 3 different devices, which you can easily switch between using the function and Q, W, or E keys. The RK61 is completely built of plastic, but actually feels very sturdy. The weight of it is 1.1 pounds, and the dimensions are 11.5 by 4 inches. Since the keyboard is really compact, it actually feels a bit more premium than if it were to be a full-size or TKL keyboard. In terms of ergonomics, the keyboard doesn't actually have any adjustable feet, but this wasn't a problem for me since the keys were already slanted in a way that would make this keyboard comfortable to use. Since I'm not a PC gamer, I didn't really play any games with this keyboard, but I did type essays for school and sometimes use this keyboard for a few hours at a time, and had no problems at all with my hand hurting. I'm sure a wrist rest would help with the ergonomics and comfort, but even without it, I had no problems at all. So after a month of only using this keyboard as my primary keyboard, I can say that the best thing about it is the typing experience. I used to have an RK Sync 87G keyboard. The experience was really nice typing on there, except there was a pinging sound which actually made the keyboard unusable. After that experience, I bought the Logitech G213, which was a membrane keyboard and served me well for a while, but after getting the RK61, I don't think that there's any way for me to go back to a membrane keyboard. The version that I have is with the brown switches, which give a nice tactile feel with not too much noise. It was really satisfying to use the keyboard to type with, and I found no problems with ping or anything else. If you have the time, you can also do some mods to the keyboard to make it sound and feel nicer, like spray lubing the switches or sound dampening them with foam. But anyways, here's a sound test of the RK61 with brown switches. Besides the typing experience, something else that I really enjoyed about this keyboard was its form factor. I know a lot of people are going to be using this keyboard as their main keyboard to game and type with, but I think that it would make for a great starter keyboard for someone entering the mechanical keyboard world, or for a great travel keyboard. Since the keyboard's so small and compact, it could easily fit into your backpack or your travel bag, and it'll give you a much better typing experience than just using your laptop's keyboard. However, you have to make sure that you're actually in a space where you could use the keyboard. It has to be somewhere private like a hotel room or somewhere else, because if you're in a public space and you're actually using a mechanical keyboard, people are just going to go crazy from the sound of it. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of RGB lighting on keyboards, it's a great feature to have, especially if you're into them. The keycaps on this keyboard are ABS double shot keycaps, which have a good amount of shine through to let the lighting show. There's a total of 17 different dynamic lighting modes which you can change by using the function key and backslash, and you can also change the brightness of the lighting modes by using the function key and the 2 bracket keys. And here are all the different lighting modes. Now to finally talk about what I don't like about this keyboard, we can start with the layout. Coming from a full-size keyboard, a 60% keyboard wasn't really ideal for me and my workflow. When I first got the keyboard, I thought I'd get used to the layout of it, but after a month of using it, I can say that it definitely did get a bit easier, but a lot of the time I did hit the wrong key or have to look down to make sure I know what I'm clicking, which slows down my workflow. I don't necessarily hate the layout of this keyboard since I think it's a great use of having such a small form factor for what it does, but I do think that the arrow keys or just not having distinct ones makes the keyboard actually really hard to use at times. But if you're someone who doesn't actually use the arrow keys a lot, I'm sure this keyboard would be fine for you, or if you have the option to actually test out a friend's 60% keyboard or to see it in a store, I would highly recommend doing that for actually any 60% keyboard. Another thing that was actually pretty annoying about this keyboard that I probably should have known before getting it was how to use the question mark and the / key. In order to get the /, you have to click the function and the / key, and if you want to get the question mark, you have to click the shift and the question mark key. And this was something that I didn't get used to at all, even after using this keyboard as my primary keyboard for over a month. Overall, if you're just getting into mechanical keyboards and you want the best bang for your buck keyboard, I think that the RK61 from Royal Kludge is a great option. Or if you have prior experience using mechanical keyboards and you want to test out a 60% keyboard, I think that this keyboard would be a great start. However, if you do have a slightly higher budget and you mainly use your keyboard for productivity, I would highly recommend looking into TKL or full-size keyboards since they give you a much better typing experience and have a much better layout. And for me personally, I didn't go with the 70% keyboard because I like having my arrow keys completely separated from the rest of the keyboard so I know where to put my hands without having to look down at the keyboard. For around $40, this keyboard has great build quality and a solid typing experience, all in a compact package. If you're interested in picking up this keyboard, I'll have the link down below from Banggood, who were kind enough to send this out to me to review. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this one or found it helpful, consider going down below and hitting that like and subscribe button. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.